Real Madrid responded in style after their UEFA Champions League setback, securing a 2-1 victory over Deportivo Alavés at the Santiago Bernabéu Stadium on Tuesday evening. Goals from Vinícius Júnior and Kylian Mbappé ensured Los Blancos kept the pressure firmly on FC Barcelona in the La Liga title race. Álvaro Arbeloa set his side up in a 4-4-2 system, with Jude Bellingham making his first La Liga start since returning from injury, adding energy and verticality in midfield. On the other hand, Quique Sánchez-Flores opted for a compact 5-3-2 shape, aiming to limit space centrally and hit on the counter. From the opening minutes, Madrid looked intent on controlling possession and stretching Alavés' defensive block, while the visitors remained disciplined, keeping their lines tight and forcing play wide. In the first half, Deportivo Alavés barely had control of the game. They managed just 34% possession and an XG of 0.36, offering little real threat to Real Madrid's back line. Their approach was quite direct, looking to bypass Madrid's press with long balls aimed at Tony Martinez, hoping to win aerial duels or second balls to progress up the pitch. However, this plan was largely ineffective. Madrid's structure made it easy to deal with. Players like Arda Güler were aggressive in pressing the ball carrier, while Kylian Mbappé and Vinícius Júnior closed down passing lanes. This often forced Alavés into rushed long balls, which Madrid could comfortably win, either the first contact or the second phase, with defenders like Álvaro Carreras stepping in to regain possession and immediately launch quick transitions. Recognizing that this approach wasn't working, Alavés made a clear tactical adjustment in the second half. Instead of going long early, they began building from the back. Ángel Pérez and Youssef Enriquez Lecadim pushed higher from their fullback roles, effectively acting as wingers. This shifted their shape from a 5-3-2 into a much more aggressive 3-3-4, allowing them to stretch Madrid both horizontally and vertically. In response, Madrid adapted by dropping into a more compact 4-4-2 low block, focusing on limiting central progression and forcing turnovers in deeper areas. One standout detail here was the defensive work rate of Vinícius Júnior, who consistently tracked back, sometimes as deep as the defensive line, to support his team and maintain compactness. This discipline helped Madrid absorb pressure while still remaining a threat on the counter. The build-up in which Real Madrid possessed the ball was characterized not only by a structured shape, but mainly by a way to exploit the opponent's back line. Having Éder Militão and Huijsen as their center backs was a secure base for them, but all the actions above were extremely dynamic. Álvaro Carreras occupied a role of hybrid type, which was also used to stretch opponents vertically. When Madrid were advancing through midfield, Carreras went inside to provide an overload against Alavés' midfield trio, thus creating opportunities to progress centrally or switch to the wings. In addition, when Madrid reached the opposition's third, Carreras started making aggressive forward runs towards the left half space, pulling the opponent's defenders and opening up passing channels for Vinícius Júnior or Kylian Mbappé. As for the other wing, Trent Alexander-Arnold provided Madrid with width, being permanently high and wide to prevent his counterpart from getting into his zone. This point was crucial since Alavés were deprived of the opportunity to compact the field as they needed to. This is how Madrid's shape transformed into a 2-3-4-1 formation. The back two formed a rest defense. The three in midfield consisted of Carreras and some central players to guarantee ball circulation and a stable counterpress. The attacking quartet kept rotating, especially on the left side. One of the main tactics employed by Madrid was Kylian Mbappé's drift to the left. Together with Vinícius Júnior and Álvaro Carreras, he managed to stretch Deportivo's right side and create overloads. At the same time, the central lane remained often empty, and the ability of Jude Bellingham, Federico Valverde, and Arda Güler to run through such open space helped them score. Another important point in Madrid's tactics was tempo management. They did not hurry all the time, circulating the ball through their defensive line and midfield, thus drawing the opponent's players out, and accelerating the ball movement afterwards. Deportivo Alavés, in turn, chose to employ a system based on two formations, 4-4-2 in midfield and 5-3-2. The purpose of this approach was to have a double screening in the middle to block central passes, to make sure that the central line stays narrow to prevent vertical progression. The back line with its 5 players would be responsible for dealing with crosses and runs into the channels. It should be said that this system limited Madrid in penetrating the middle. However, the issue was that Madrid succeeded in stretching them horizontally. On both sides, Madrid managed to overload the opposition with 2 versus 1 or even 3 versus 2 attacks. Thus, on the left, Vinícius Júnior held the width or dribbled inside. Kylian Mbappé drifted to the same position. Carreras underlapped. And on the right, Trent Alexander-Arnold stretched the opponent's defense. Jude Bellingham and Federico Valverde rotated around him, either one of them being the supporting player for Alexander-Arnold, the other the attacker from deep. Alavés were forced to compensate for that, which usually took them a few precious seconds, during which Madrid delivered crosses and cutbacks into open spaces. It should be noted that Madrid managed to protect themselves adequately when possessing the ball. Since they always had a good shape due to Carreras inverting and the back 2 holding position, any attempts to counterattack were stopped almost immediately. In conclusion, while Deportivo Alavés managed to limit Madrid in central penetrations, they did not cope with the constant width, rotations, and overloads. If you're looking for detailed stats and insights like the ones used in this video, then check out tribuna.com. They cover all the major clubs and provide in-depth data to support your analysis. The link is in the description.